Alright guys, quick vibe check. One question, and then we get into the twists. You start an anime and it hits you with a crazy plot twist. Do you A, get excited, B, get angry, or C, immediately open the group chat and type, bro, what? Because today's list is for people who picked C. We're doing 5 anime plot twists that don't just surprise you, they change how you see everything that came before. Plus, honorable mentions for the extra chaotic ones. Spoiler alert, but you have been warned. Don't Google anything. Google's the enemy. Let's go. Deca-Dence is one of those shows that walks up wearing the most familiar outfits in the closet. Post-apocalypse? Check. Humanity packed in a massive moving fortress? Check. A wasteland outside crawling with monsters? Big check. You've got your scrappy underdog, Natsume, who wants to take part in fighting those monsters. Your grumpy veteran, Kaburagi, who's seen too much. And enough cables, steel plating, and emergency sirens to make you think you know exactly what lane this is driving in. And to be fair, it does deliver that lane. The action's snappy, the world design is loud and vibrant, and the whole setting has this punchy industrial theme park of survival energy. It's not just gray misery, it's colorful, it's stylized, and it has personality. But the reason Deca-Dence is on our list is because it isn't content to be a solid monster fighting show with heart. It's one of those series where, very early on, the story taps the sign that says genre, flips it around. Not in a cheap gotcha way, more in like a, wait, so this whole time I've been reading the situation wrong kind of way. The kind of reveal that doesn't just change what you think about the world, it changes what you think the show's trying to do. And the cool part is, once that switch happens, the character stuff hits harder. Natsume's dream stops being just, I want to be a fighter, and starts feeling like a collision between who she is and what the world allows her to be. Kaburagi stops being a standard gruff mentor and becomes someone you watch more closely, as you realize he's carrying context the audience didn't have at first. If you want a twist that's less shocking death and more the premise itself just evolved into a different animal, Deca-Dence is perfect. Just do yourself a favor. I recommend people give it 2 episodes and go in as blind as you can, because half the fun is feeling the floor shift under your feet. The executioner and her way of life is sneaky, because it opens by pretending it's going to be a comfort food isekai. You get a summoned Japanese boy, a fantasy court, the whole let's measure your potential ceremony, and then when he's kicked out because he has null power, feels like the most obvious genre fake out. Because in isekai, null never means null. It means wait for it. Then Menno enters, and the show dangles that classic dopamine hit, the hidden overpower reveal like it's about to do something you've seen 100 times. You're braced for the moment when the camera pushes in, the music swells, and suddenly the dud is actually a walking apocalypse. But right when your brain settles into the usual isekai rhythms, the show snaps the metronome in half and you realize this isn't wish fulfillment story at all. It's an isekai told from the perspective of a world that's already used to having summoned visitors, and that one shift relabels everything. The tone, the tension, even the way you read a friendly introduction. If you're tired of the usual ladder climb where the visitor becomes the strongest thing in the room by episode 3, this one hits different. It's less watch me get overpowered and more watch what a society does when it's learned to be afraid of miracles. And hey, if you're enjoying this, drop a like and hit that subscribe button. It really helps out the channel. Thanks. Talentless Nana starts out looking like your standard superhero school anime. Remote island campus, gifted teens with flashy abilities, training to protect humanity, and a new transfer student dropped into the class like a fresh piece on the board. It's bright, confident, and familiar enough that your brain starts auto-assigning tropes before the opening theme even finishes. Then the show pulls the chair out from under you. Very early on, it makes it clear this isn't a how do we level up our powers story, it's a cat and mouse thriller where the real tension is who's playing what role and how long it takes for everyone else to notice. What makes Nana work isn't just the twist, it's the aftermath. Once the game's on, every friendly conversation feels slightly booby-trapped, and the suspense comes from watching someone try to survive in a room full of advantages, using planning, psychology, and social manipulation instead of raw power. Avoid the synopsis and let episode 1 do the explaining. If you like mind games and paranoia, Talentless Nana delivers. We can't talk about twists without talking about Attack on Titan. If you somehow dodged spoilers all these years, treat this show like a landmine field. Don't Google character names, don't scroll to comments, don't even let autoplay breathe near you. Because the best part of Attack on Titan is that feeling of realizing the show you started is not the show you're watching now. It keeps doing that again and again. If you haven't seen it, you're about to understand why people bring this show up like it's a historical event. Because it starts with a premise so clean you can pitch it in one sentence. Humanity's trapped behind giant walls, Titans roam outside, and scouts ride out to smash nightmares in the teeth. Simple, brutal, and instantly iconic. Survival horror plus shonen grit. Train hard, kill monsters, reclaim the world. But the reason Attack on Titan became a cultural weather event is because it refuses to stay in that lane. Every time you think you understand what kind of story it is, it expands the frame and forces you to relabel the conflict. The Titans stop being just monsters. The wall stops just being protection. Even the idea of truth becomes a moving target that characters chase until it breaks them. And the wild part is how often those reveals feel inevitable in hindsight. Like the clues were already there. You just didn't know what questions to ask yet. If you want a twist entry that's less one shocking moment and more the entire premise keeps evolving, Attack on Titan is the blueprint. And before we get to our last pick, some quick honorable mentions. Because Anime Twist is basically a spoiler magnet, and I'm not letting the comments bully me for only naming 5. Astra, Lost in Space is a fun survival adventure that keeps layering, wait, what? Reveals like it's stacking Jenga blocks on a trampoline. Higurashi, When They Cry, starts like a small town weirdness and escalates into I should not have trusted anyone, including the opening theme. From the New World is a slow burn world building story where the more you understand the society, the more horrifying it becomes in hindsight. Paranoia Agent is less one big twist and more a psychological spiral where reality keeps slipping out of your hands like a bar of soap. School Live looks like cute club slice of life comfort food, and then it quietly turns the lights off. Alright, last one, and this is the classic that uses sparkles as camouflage. Puella Magica Madoka. If you've somehow never seen it, do not let the pastel art style trick you into multitasking. This is not throw it on in the background anime. This is sit down and keep your hands inside the ride at all times anime. Because at first blush, Madoka looks like the most classical magical girl setup possible. Cute character designs, bright colors, soft everyday life scenes. It's the kind of premise that your brain recognizes instantly. You can practically hear the theme song encouraging you to believe in yourself. And then the show starts tightening those screws. Without spoiling specifics, Madoka doesn't just get darker, it redefines what magical girl even means by taking all the innocent genre staples and treating them like loaded weapons. Wishes don't feel like gifts, they feel like contracts. The transformations stop being pure empowerment and start feeling expensive. And once a story shows you the real shape of the system under the sparkles, you realize the cuteness wasn't there to comfort you, it was there to set the trap. The reason people still talk about it is that it's not edgy for the sake of edge. It's controlled, purposeful, it's a slow, elegant descent where every new piece of information makes the earlier episodes hit differently in hindsight. And if you're watching with friends, you'll eventually get that moment where somebody goes quiet and you can tell they just realized what show they're actually in. So yeah, stay off the wiki and just hit play. Madoka's whole power is watching you slowly realize the sparkles were never there to comfort you. Alright, that's the list. And if any of these shows just committed identity theft on your expectations, don't blame me, blame the writers. If you got a twist anime that deserves a spot in the honorable mentions, just drop it in the comments, but keep it spoiler free. If you enjoyed this, I've got more videos like this coming. And if you want a part 2, let me know in the comments what series I should include. Alright, see you in the next one.